Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What do you got going on? Let's talk about it in the comments. Today, I want to show you what we got going on downstairs. I want to talk to you about it first, though. Christopher and the guys downstairs up their game. They've been doing a lot more with the grow down there, and it's nothing too earth-shattering. We're not doing a lot of side-by-sides and that sort of thing. I think what we're going to do down there, we want to talk to you about, is just good old-fashioned growing stuff and how we're doing it, how you're doing it, and just starting a conversation about that. So I thought it'd be fun to go on down there. Let's just do that now. I'll grab my coffee. We'll go. Come on down. Going?
We're going.
Hey there.
Hey, what's up?
What do you got going in the garden?
Oh, we got lots of things going on today. We're doing some up-potting of some tomatoes. They kind of outgrew their homes before we could get them outside, so we're up-potting them into some 10-gallon containers. We got lots of little peppers going, some flowers for out front as well.
Let's go in and take a look.
Yeah.
So what was your deal with the peppers? Not the peppers, with the tomatoes. You had a bunch going on down here, right?
Yeah, we had a bunch going on. Needed to kind of thin the herd a little bit. We up-potted some that we want to save to get outside. They were for the home show, for decoration.
Oh, I got you.
They were a bigger tomato, so they were just kind of outgrowing this space. So,
okay.
We got lots of peppers following, so this room's going to be filled up again real quick.
Now, let me ask you that. So when you're doing indoor for outdoor, you often do too many and then kind of pick the healthiest ones, or just randomly pick some to go for the outside?
It's definitely easy to overstart your plants and your seeds. You fill a 50-cell insert, and then they all come up, and then all of a sudden I only needed 10 plants, but I got 50 of them here. So,
let me ask you. I'm interrupted. People tell me I interrupt a lot. I'm sorry. Trying to keep it rolling.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious about the tomatoes. I've grown a few tomatoes, but when you're growing them indoors for outdoors, obviously you put them in the tray, it's a number 4 or something, and you're just popping them up. But then when you go to upplant, are you doing any kind of nutrients on the inside while you're doing it? If you're planning on going outdoors?
Definitely. I usually mix in some one-shot with that soil at each transplant. That way there is some food there. If you were going to be planning on not doing any kind of feeds, you would probably mix more in than what I currently do. But I do a lot of liquid feeds as well. So I just give them enough that there's some food there to get them rolling with.
Okay, now let me ask you that then. So we do the liquid feeds because that's what we do. But if you were going to an outside garden, do you think that's going to get you up? Are you going to have a bigger plant in the end from doing those liquid feeds? I mean, is that going to give you more dividends down the road?
It could. It's definitely, there's a lot of different scenarios that could happen there. Now, depending what they put on their soil, if they amended it heavily and everything's going right at the right time, and you're only doing maybe one booster, it may be debatable on liquid feeds, how much those liquid feeds really did. Now, if you're doing weekly boosters with a liquid feed, my gut tells me overall is that you're going to see overall bigger and more,
So when it's doing better at the start, that transfers somewhat exponentially at the finish. It's bigger all the way through.
I think the better they go the whole way through, and sometimes all the way back to the beginning is very important to what you're seeing at the end process. So definitely.
So when so you did them inside, you put some one-shot in the pot, you've up-potted them, you put some one-shot in again. Now these are getting pretty big. Are these you're going to still transplant these outside, or are you leaving those pots or you get them outside?
Those are going to stay in these containers because they'll be too hard.
Too unwieldy to get out of there.
Yeah.
So if those other ones, if they had been at the time and you transplanted them in there, would you just put them into your bedding soil, or would you put some fresh soil in with them? Would you put any one-shot in with them? What would you have done at that point?
So what we did to those beds out there is a couple months ago, I threw in some more worm castings that we had, some of the compost that we carry here into the bed, kind of mixed that all in, and I mixed some one-shot in. This was about 2 months ago when the weather was nice one day. Kind of giving it to some time to kind of start breaking down, make itself available. Then at the time of transplant, I'm going to put more in there as well. So you're kind of having that staggered effect of all of those foods becoming available. So the stuff that I had already put in is going to be becoming available as soon as those plants go in the soil, and then that stuff that what I put in at the soil at the time of putting them in is going to be becoming available a little bit later on down the road. So I like to stagger it in that way, but there's a lot of approaches to this.
Well, yeah, but if you're using the number 4 soil, it's got some bone meal and some of those sorts of raw stuff in there, right? That's breaking down as it goes. So you're not doing a lot of those kind of the oyster shells or the bone meal or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. You're focusing on the soil and then the one shot.
But even in our number 4, I mean, especially for tomatoes and peppers, if you don't amend that soil with something, those plants, and you're not doing liquid feeds, those plants are going to become hungry pretty quickly in our soils. Our soils are designed to either be fed with like one shot or liquid feed.
It's made for those one or the other kind. Yeah. That's why to use those soils instead of some kind of hot soil that you might use if you weren't doing any of that sort of stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, what else you got going? Tell me about the peppers.
Yeah, that was one thing I definitely wanted to point out because we did a show. This was back, I think, in October or November even, where we did some seed collecting from the pods. So
we did the seeds. Yeah,
some of these are peppers that have sprouted from those seeds: the ghost chilies, the scorpions, and the Cajun bells.
Can you bring them up here? Bring them up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess I should have my glasses on here. I'm in the bright light.
So these are the ghost chilies. Those were from one of the seed pods that we collected. So as you can see, we've had great results with them germinating, and the plants are vigorously growing at this point. They'll within probably 2 weeks be ready to come out of these containers and look like those guys going.
Okay. So refresh my these are at least the peppers too. They're little.
Yep, those are the Cajun bells that we collected as well.
Yeah. Now did they go a little faster? They're more a little.
We started those. They were started right at the same time. Ghost and scorpions are definitely a very slow
roll. Yeah. They got to work that heat up. Yeah.
So some things come out of the ground much quicker and are off to the races, as you can see with these early jalapenos and some of the Cajun bells, where the scorpions and the ghosts are still trailing a little behind.
So refresh my memory a little bit on how we did that. We just carved them out of there. Did you leave them on the little kind of stemmy kind of?
Still a little mixture of both. Both? I can't say that. I think I ended up just putting all those seeds in the same thing. So I think either way, they were both successful.
Now, they were always just out in the air.
You know what? So, excuse me. Some of those pods that we didn't bust open, those actually molded on the inside. That was one of our experiments. Whether we cut the pod open or whether we left the pod solid. Those ones that we left solid to dry out, most of those seeds ended up getting like mold on the inside. So I would recommend.
We definitely want to cut them open.
Cutting them open.
But leaving them on the thing is versus just dropping them in there didn't seem to make any difference at all. And you never had these in a bag or anything. They were just out in the air, sitting out there until you were finding.
For quite a while until we came up. So you can see they're pretty resilient, as a whole.
Very cool. What else you got going in here? Let me move the camera a little bit so everybody can see here.
We got some zinnias going. There's some flowers. My wife really likes zinnias.
I did some of those last year too. I want to ask you something about that then. So with those, I did some of those last year, and then I just chopped off the tops on them. Are they going to grow back or not so much?
Oh, most of the time I've never seen a zinnia live through the winter.
Yeah.
Did your green actually live through the winter? Is there still?
No, they're gone. Yeah. Nothing's happened yet. I just cut the tops off, and I didn't know.
We'll see what happens. Underground, though, they're not a perennial in the regard that they come back year after year. Unfortunately, you will have to start these again from seed to have them come back for you.
So am I too late to the game for that, or if I start some inside?
Like the ones I just started at home are just being started now. These are well ahead of the game. They are a little bit more. You usually start these about the same time as tomatoes and peppers. They're definitely a warmer season flower.
Cool. Well, what do you got going over here?
These are some Elysiums. I believe I probably murdered that.
Elysium?
Yeah,
Elysium. Yeah.
And then we got some African daisies, which I'm not 100% sure, but we had some seeds in the seed ball, so we sprouted them.
That's very cool.
Yep. So kind of getting some stuff ready for spring and summer for the outside of the Constant Gardener.
Very cool. Well, thanks for the update. I sure appreciate it. We all do.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, that was fun. We sure appreciate Christopher doing that. I hope you enjoyed that. A little different than what we normally do. Maybe we'll do a little more of that. In fact, tomorrow Colin's going to show us how he repots one of those tomatoes, and we'll chat a little then. That's show for today. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.